Well, while Eric is doing that, do you guys want to go on to our first topic?
Sure. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So here's topic number one is what the hell is going on with the ES and Sideshow?
Oh God.
Poison Ivy announced at 250. Okay, so let's go back just a little bit. So the Poison Ivy went up for pre-order. I don't know what, 2 weeks ago, maybe
Three.
not, maybe 3 weeks ago. Okay, 3 weeks ago.
Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Yep.
And so this was something that, and again, I don't know if I'm part of the reason why it was released. I don't know, because there was like a whoopser on the website, and I did a video about it. And so then all of a sudden, bam, it's now up for pre-order, which was interesting. So, I don't know if that kind of forced the issue or not. I know it drummed up a lot of interest. Obviously, there was a lot of people that viewed that video. And so all of a sudden, lo and behold, boom, here we have a premium format. I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. I know, Dan, you ordered one. I ordered one the first day, which I don't always do anymore. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, usually you can kind of sit and wait on things. Not this time. So the weird thing about it was some collectors brought it to my attention that it had this thing on the website that said it was an exclusive, which we're like, well, there's no exclusive to it. Usually they have the little exclusive banner. But what we later found out was it obviously was just exclusive to Sideshow itself, where other retailers weren't going to be selling it. And then there was another thing that somebody sent me that had a graphic on it that said limited time only. Right? Or something, something like that.
Something to that effect.
Something to that effect. And we thought, okay, well, that's really strange, because usually, you can pre-order it for 2 more years and be fine. And it's like, it's very strange, the limited time only thing. Well, what drummed up all the interest this week was this graphic right here. And this says Sideshow edition size announcement, only 250 worldwide. Yep. At first, I think maybe Eric or somebody in our private chat messaged this image, got it in an email. I checked my email. I did not see a thing. And I apparently when people were talking about it on Facebook, not very many people had it. There was only a few people that actually got this email saying that there was an ES of 250 worldwide. I later in the day got one. Did you guys get one?
No,
I never got one. No.
Okay.
I'm the one that posted it. I got it.
Okay, Dan did. Okay, sorry.
I think when it first went out, I had it early in the day, like that morning.
So
Okay.
someone had a theory. Did you two guys subscribe to get notifications about her?
Yep.
I probably.
So I didn't. Maybe that's why.
So maybe. I can't remember for sure if I did.
I RSVP'd. So when they posted the RSVP, I did.
Okay. So I bet I probably did too. And maybe that would make sense then why we got the email. But I didn't get it till like 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
long after it's sold out.
Right.
Waitlisted, I should
Yeah.
say.
So you're getting ahead of us, Jeff. Come on. No, we're trying to build up the excitement here. So anyway, I'm just kidding. So anyway, obviously this created a big buzz. The fact that only 250 were going to be made. This is incredibly different than anything we've ever seen from Sideshow, I think ever, where usually something goes for pre-order and usually it says ES to be announced in the future. Yep. And usually I think that's based on sales. It's like they're trying to see how many they can sell. At that point, they will determine how many they're going to set for the ES. They will still take pre-orders usually until it's completely sold out, or even after it's waitlisted. They'll still take orders. But this time there was 250. Obviously, a lot of FOMO sent in.
For 3 weeks, though, it did say that. For 3 weeks, it did say TBD.
Right. Exactly. So 3 weeks later, which is again very, very rare. Sometimes the companies will announce the ES right when it goes up for pre-order. Sideshow, they don't typically do that. They may have done it before.
They did.
But it's rare. And so 3 weeks later, we get an ES of 250. And of course, because of that, the internet goes crazy and it is now waitlisted. It waitlisted that afternoon, which we were surprised it wasn't sold out at that point already, because 250 of a major character like this, Poison Ivy, which is just crazy. Then later the day, we got this. This was a post on Sideshow's Instagram. And I have blown it up a little bit so you guys can read it here a little bit better. It says, growing, gone. I think it was, I'm assuming it's a plant joke. The limited edition Poison Ivy premium format figure of just 250 pieces has sold out. Head to our website now to join the wait list. Be on the lookout for even more low edition size collectibles from Sideshow in the future. Okay. So let's dive into this. Like, what is going on? We had a great conversation in our private chat that afternoon. Clearly, this is a major change in business practices potentially for them. What do you guys think's going on? What do you guys think about this? This 3 week later 250 ES on a major character?
Well, let me add a few more things to your how it all went down.
Yes, please.
The Sideshow website didn't show the edition size of 250 until like 4 o'clock my time. So 6 o'clock your time, Chris, and 7 o'clock your time, for you two guys. It never showed a 250 edition size while it was still available, ever.
That's true.
That's my biggest problem.
Wow, that's
before they announced it anywhere else, it should have been on their website, because some people didn't get most people didn't get the email.
right.
Yeah.
Some people don't have Instagram or follow Instagram, whatever.
It was on
But everyone has access to their website. So
Yeah.
it should be on their website. That's where they're selling the darn thing. That's where it should have been first. Also, we didn't get any of the reminders that we normally get, like low stock remaining. That never happened. Almost sold out. Never happened. It went straight from TBD to waitlisted. In my mind, that should never happen. Those two words, TBD and waitlist, should never exist on the same page.
Yep.
If it's waitlisted, there has to be an edition size. Just basic logic. So I think in that respect, they screwed up. And I hope that they don't do that again. If they want to do a 3 week pre-order, awesome. Go for it. But tell us you're doing that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because again, we are on social media a lot, but there's a lot of people that are not. And it's, it shouldn't benefit one collector over the other. I mean, everybody should have a fair shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's just crazy. Like, what do you guys think is going on with this? I mean, why would they want to? I mean, I think the question most people would say, like, why wouldn't they leave it open? I mean, if they could sell another 500 of these or whatever and make a lot more money. Like, what do you think? I mean, we've been talking a lot about
why
strange
250?
business practices over the last couple of months. Like, what do you think is going on here, Dan?
Honestly, I've been saying this for a while now. When XM started to trickle in with some low ES, they've been doing it for a while too, but it seems more and more low ES statues. And then we've seen Prime 1 do it a few times, and then a little more and a little more. My theory is that they've figured out how to hit their margin targets, because it's all about profitability. If these things don't have a certain level of profit, they don't get done, period. End of story, right? And profit's measured in a whole bunch of different ways. And I think they're able to now, for whether it's through different business arrangements and relationships with the factories, they've taken what they used to spread for production over 5 factories. Now they're just 1. So they're able to give them more. Whatever the business change they've made, I think they've figured out how to be profitable with a low ES run, which I think is critical, because all the other economic, environmental factors around the economy and shipping costs and all those other things, all that does is cause statues to build up in their warehouses. And that's where they every day that statue sits, the profit margin on that statue goes down every single day. And at a certain point, now you've crossed a line where it wasn't worth it for them to make that statue in the first place. I completely believe they've figured that out.
I was going to ask you, it's like, to me, I was just going to say, is it a warehouse thing? Because we've seen these massive sales. We've seen this, it's like, if let's say they had an ES of 4,000 or something crazy, and they sold 1,000 so far, which is great. It's making profit, but then they have all these ones in their warehouse, and then they have to discount them and discount them and discount them and free shipping and blah, blah, blah in order to get them out of the warehouse. Do you think it's simply as that? It's just we know that we can move this amount X, but it's still like 250 is really low. Like you would think like, okay, well, let's do an ES of 500. You would still think that they would be able to move that, but
Yep.
how do you think they come up with a number?
That I'm not sure. But remember, if they commit, right, to a factory to make 1,000 statues, right, they're paying so much per statue, right, for a certain level of finish and all the other aspects that go into it. They have to pay that regardless of whether or not they sell those statues. So if they have 1,000 made, they get whatever, 30% of them are pre-ordered, maybe 50% are pre-ordered, right? The other 50% go into a warehouse and trickle out the door and sell, slowly. Think about that. The margin on those first 500 goes down, 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 down. And then what happens when you're sitting on 80 of these things? Like they don't all sell out.
Right.
So
I have two problems.
Okay, hit us with it.
The first is, and I talked about this yesterday. XM can do that because they're charging 50% more for a quarter scale statue.
Right.
That allows them to have a lower edition size. And the other problem I have is that everything you say might be true, Dan, but that does not explain why they didn't just come out and say, we're doing this for 3 weeks. You got 3 weeks and then we're done. It's made to order. Yeah. That would have given everybody the window of opportunity that they need, that knowledge to know I got to order it by this date or I'm screwed. And they didn't do that. Somewhere along the line, there's either a screw up or they decided to do this made to order thing. And based on history, like I said yesterday, that last Poison Ivy, they sold 2,300 of them.
Which is crazy. Think of the difference, 2,300 to 250.
And now we know that in the first 3 weeks of sales on this statue, they didn't hit 250 until they declared there's only going to be 250. And everybody went, oh my God, and FOMO struck and everybody went and ordered it. What is it about this piece, or was it about our hobby as a whole, that they can't, because there was very few complaints about this statue.
Beautiful piece. I mean, yeah, I didn't hear any. I mean, other than maybe some seam issues with the hair.
The other thing,
only negative I saw.
I don't know if we mentioned yet, but the other thing, just really quick, is they made it an exclusive to where they didn't even make it available to other retailers to get in on that and make, raise the sales on it.
And I think that's going to be the clue in the future. Any piece that says Sideshow exclusive, you better order it day one, because who knows when they're going to end the ordering.
I mean, because that tells me that they knew right away that they were going to be doing this really low run. Yeah. But I don't know. What do you feel about what do you feel about all this, Eric? Like, where do you see? Like,
well, I have my crazy conspiracy theory. I don't know if you want me to go into that, but I think it's a combination of what Dan was saying and what Jeff was saying. I think we're in hard times right now, like a little bit of a recession, and people aren't buying like they used to. And at the same time, like Dan said, I think they just want to move stock really quick, not have to worry about it sitting in warehouses and offer it up on seconds and, try to get rid of it and have to deal with retailers and shipping and this and that. They can just move it really quick, make their money on it. I mean, it is like an $800 statue, so it is a little bit pricey compared to previous PFs. Maybe like I think Mr. Freeze was like 800 or 820. You want me to go into my crazy conspiracy theory?
Sure, go for it.
I think it's an older piece that was been sitting around based on the base. The base kind of matches up with the pogo stick Joker. And it makes me wonder if this was I think Sideshow produces, at least starts production on statues before we even know about it, before they even announce it, maybe say like a month ahead. This way they get an early jump on it. And this way they can get the first batch out to customers. If you go back like a year or two ago, we had the whole pandemic, and it makes me wonder if that's what they were in the middle of doing. They had started maybe an early first batch at the factory. The factory got shut down, factory caught on fire. Who knows? Something happened to the project. It got terminated. And for whatever reason, they never picked it back up when everything reopened. And they had 250, 300 of these sitting around in a warehouse somewhere and didn't know what to do with it and said, let's make it quick, advertise, whatever they want to call it. Like it's a quick, it's only, going to be available for a certain amount of time to order. That's my theory.
I mean, I think a lot of people are
crazy,
saying,
but you never know.
well, a lot of people are saying genius theory or good theory. It's like, we have seen that with, like, I know XM with the Bat Bike, like they went into production really fast and it came out way early.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of statues here lately. You guys have noticed, like my punchline way, way early. This Joker is going to come way, way early. And so I do think it is a factory issue where if less is being made, the factories are clearly wanting to stay busy. So they're, I just feel like it has to, I think it has a lot to do with the way the factory is being used. I don't know. It's just really interesting, but there are a lot of good theories, obviously, of what's going on, but there's
just so much with this piece that doesn't add up. And that's the weird thing about it. Like everything with the email, like people not getting the emails, like Jeff said, like certain people didn't know about it. It's like everything just doesn't make sense what they're doing with this.
Do you feel like this is going to be a new model going forward? I mean, do you feel like this is going to be something that they do?
This isn't the first time they've done this. They did this with Thanos, and when they did it with Thanos, they did it on, like Jeff said, on the website. They let everybody know the ES was going to be 500 for the X, 1,000 for the regular, whatever it was, and the thing sold out
from day one.
5 minutes. Yeah.
From day one, they said.
So they know how to do it. Why didn't they do it this time with Ivy? It's like, what the hell is going on?
I think that if Sideshow knew that they were going to be doing this, and especially if they're going to be doing it further down the road, like why not do like this big exciting rollout about, because we've been talking
marketing.
What?
I can tell you that they suck at marketing.
Well,
they do. They're horrible at it. They really are. I'm sorry, but they are.
Yeah. Well, it's been clear the last couple of years. It's just been a lot of the decisions have been really odd. But it's like we've talked a lot about on the channel where, in the old days, we used to encourage people to pre-order. But in the last couple of years, we've said, hey, don't pre-order anymore. Wait till stuff comes in stock. Usually it's not going to sell out unless there's that rare piece like Batman Who Laughs from Prime 1 or something like that. And so that's what we've been saying. And so then they get stuff in stock and they try to sell that. A lot of times it sits there as well. So do you think this is a way to be like, to completely flip it up on its head and get people to pre-order again like they used to back in the old days? Do you think that is what the strategy is here?
Well, I mean, keep in mind that the reason YouTubers, like you say, have been telling people to wait to order before you see a production piece or whatever, or when it's in hand, is because Sideshow has taken measures to encourage that. If you're going to have Sideshow seconds, if you're going to, everything that they've done, if you're going to eliminate exclusives,
right?
All these moves encourage people to wait.
Yeah,
you're exactly right.
So I don't blame YouTubers because they're reacting to what Sideshow's doing, how they're operating their business. It's so frustrating. And the thing that's interesting is Sideshow never cancels pieces.
Right.
XM does.
Yeah.
Prime 1 does.
Yeah.
So if they get really, really bad numbers, they just cancel it. Sideshow doesn't. So I'm really curious what the evolution of this Poison Ivy story is. And it really is shocking to me that they didn't sell 250 until they announced the edition size. That's crazy.
This is why the suck at marketing comment, honestly, because they, the Sideshow seconds, the daily deals and the other deals, those are marketing tactics.
Sure, right? They are.
Those are marketing tactics to promote and move product and prioritize moving certain product.
Sure.
To then come full swing this other direction, that's what I mean by suck at marketing. It's like, wait a minute, you're pushing and pulling your collecting community all over the place. Your customers, it's just not, I don't know.
I just don't understand that number. Like, why 250? Like XM and Prime 1 barely goes that low. It makes me like, if we don't see a variant of this and like in a green skin, I'm really going to speculate even more like what's going on with this piece. Because
I mean, it's been a trend though. Like we just saw that Harley Quinn, the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn ES announced. The Joker from Daniel Bell was announced.
Yeah,
both of them not very big ESs, which was shocking to me, especially on the Joker.
What was the Harley ES?
Harley is 5 and Joker is 6.
500 on a Harley piece.
On a Harley.
Low. Wow.
Yeah. Even on
Joker. So I don't know if announcing those ESs may have like kind of started that talk at Sideshow and said, hey, let's maybe do something different here. I just don't know. But like you said, the push and pull of the customer has been very interesting, to say the least. And again, it will be really interesting to see in the future of kind of if this is the new way, or because I can't see them living in both worlds. I can't see them continuing to say, hey, look at us over here with all these discounts, which again, it's never been better to buy and it's never been better to wait, because why would you pre-order? But that's the way we have been conditioned to do that.
I don't think they'll do it with every release though. They still have large ESs. I mean, the new Psylocke is 2,000. You know, did you notice the Dark Knight waitlisted today?
The on bike?
No, the Lightning Bolt.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, and that's an ES of 2,500. So I think they'll use it sparingly, would be my guess. But
like, what's it gonna like how what's the rhyme or reason? Like, I mean, you would think
it's a mystery.
Okay, so hold on, I want to get back to this. I got a super
going back to Joker real quick. Was Joker an exclusive, like where it's only sold at Sideshow?
No.
Nope.
So why the hell did they do it with Ivy? And
that's what again, we just don't know. Ryan EU, $10 super chat. The big factor on why people weren't ordering discounts, like Jeff said, Sideshow Collectibles set itself up and encouraged people not to pre-order because folks were fine waiting for a deal. Feel bad, folks, for wanting this piece. Again, it would be great. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Ryan. Thank you again. All of that goes into the bat bunker, so thank you very much. I also want to thank 275 people watching right now. That means I got to pre-order something tonight, guys. Thank you for being here. Live pre-order coming up. So I do like Jeff said earlier, it's like, I feel bad for the collectors that didn't have an opportunity on the website to know, if you didn't get that email. So it's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Now, here's my other thing that I wanted to ask and talk about. So do you think that something like this, if a character like Ivy, they're only going to make 250, they know exactly how much they're going to make because they know they're going to sell out. Do you think that they will start then making some of those other characters that people have been wanting, like Two-Face or Clayface or Man-Bat or whatever? Do you think that's more likely to happen now? Because before they would like, an ES of 250, we'll never make that character. Or do you think now, if that's that's their new business model for whatever rhyme or reason, do you think we're more likely to get those characters, or do you think now we're even less likely to get the characters?
But the question is, are they making money? Or I mean, hopefully they're making money. Are they going to make money off of that 250 edition size?
No.
I can't imagine much, because I know for a fact that these companies pay a lot of money up front for the prototype.
Because I don't see them doing with other characters if that's the case.
And that's the thing is, like, I don't understand how they make money on an $800 Poison Ivy that's 250 made. Surely, I mean, they're going to make some.
I mean, it is pricey. I mean,
but I think at this point, maybe if sales are that bad, then maybe something's better than nothing.
I mean, we always said the lower the edition size, the higher the price to make up for the cost. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys think that's kind of expensive, like 800 for a PF? I mean, it's a little.
Well, it's not. It's 800 shipped. When it's 690.
Yeah.
The price is 690.
Yeah, right.
That's right in with what they've been doing with PFs lately.
Right. Okay. But it's not a $1,400 XM.
No.
Yeah. All right.
It's not.
And so again, that's what XM does. Like they up the cost a little bit. Their packaging's a little heavier, so shipping sometimes a little bit more. But people, they'll pay for that quality. They'll pay for it, especially if it's a low ES. A lot of the Samurai pieces are pretty low ESs on some of them.
To answer your question, though, I don't think it's more likely we're going to get those characters because of what happened here. I think it's less likely. I don't think there's any good news about Sideshow selling less than 250 Poison Ivies in 3 weeks. That's bad. That does not herald well for.
I agree.
Right, and that I agree. I think I for me, it's wishful thinking. I'm thinking, well, if they're happy making that much money on a character, well, then they would be happy making this much money on that other character. Because again,
I don't think they're happy.
Well, they might. It was their decision to do it, though. Like
they could have kept it open longer.
It's not like it was done to them.
They don't cancel stuff. I think that they opened up that pre-order 3 weeks ago, thinking they were going to get numbers like they got with the last Ivy. which
That's
were
what I say,
very
like,
high.
like why they closed it so early. Like I said, like they must have really seen like super low numbers coming into where they maybe thought like, wow, this is really not selling. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
again, it did not sell 350 in 3 weeks. I mean, 250. It did not sell
250.
250 in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
which is shocking.
And if it had sold 200, it should have gone to low stock remaining.
Correct.
So they probably didn't even sell 200
Yeah.
until yesterday.
Well,
Isn't
why
that
give us
just-
the low stock warning? They even let us know the addition size or anything else coming.
I know. But yeah.
I mean, we've talked before about how important communication is, and hopefully this is a learning opportunity to say, hey, this is the first time we've ever done it. Next time, maybe do it a little bit differently. But it would still be nice to kind of know. Again, it's like, what the hell's going on? Like, what is going on here?
Back. They kind of did it with Thanos. It wasn't like a 3-week period, but they did do it with Thanos over one.
But weren't
day.
they more upfront about it? Like, didn't
Yeah,
they
they just
kinda,
literally
tell
said
us what's
like,
going on?
Yeah, they said,
So
here's the number, and that's it.
Are we not believing the comment they made on Instagram about look forward to more low ES statues from Sideshow?
We'll see.
Well,
I think that they're going to do it.
did you recognize the person who posted that?
No,
I didn't see it.
It was on
There's a
Facebook
name
too.
up there, but I've never seen it before.
I don't know.
It's on Facebook too, on their official web, their official name on Facebook.
No, I mean, I believe they posted it,
Oh, okay.
but I don't believe that they're in any way happy with an edition size of 250. It just makes no sense. Not at that price point.
Which makes me go back to thinking it goes to my, I know it sounds crazy, but I think it's a piece from a few years ago that never got put out. And
Eric, what is your idea about why they didn't put it out?
possibly something with the pandemic where the factories got shut, and like I said, I think they always know their statue sells. So I believe they start production before we even know about the pre-order period or anything like that announcement.
And we know that we know statues like this have been made.
We know they
do.
do.
A Batman statue. It's been in production, or
we know they do batches. So maybe they do like a 500 batch and then another 500 batch, whatever the edition size is. So they might have been doing an early batch, and something happened at the factory where they're closed down, caught fire. I think one time one of them caught on fire or something like that, and for whatever reason it got scrapped and they never picked the project back up.
I was just going to say that we know that when a statue is being developed, it was started years and years and years ago. So if we're seeing this, this poison ivy, she might have been made, actually started being sculpted 3 years ago. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's very typical of all these things. It is a process. They have to go through approvals, and they have to sculpt this, and then it has to go from this artist to this artist. And just having different artists on the channel, we've learned about that process, and it's really quite interesting. So I do believe this Ivy's probably been around for a while.
It does match up with the older Joker. I mean, that the base is exactly.
That's the one thing that really tells me that you could be onto something there, Eric.
So I looked into that a little bit.
Yeah.
The Joker one is the insignia for the Gotham courthouse.
Okay.
And this one is for the police station. So in some ways they're similar, but in some ways they're different.
But they were clearly going with the theme with those.
Do they look similar? Like if you were to put them next to each other, do they look like they should?
Yeah, it's the same coin. It's that copper bronze, like looks like a coin, whatever, the insignia.
So I mean, you might be onto something. Maybe that's exactly what happened with this one.
The problem I have with that theory is that they had so many dismal events in the last 6 months of last year where they could have thrown that up if they had them sitting in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And people would have appreciated a new premium format at a time where we weren't getting much at all.
Again, marketing.
I vote Dan Default to take over head of marketing for Sideshow. What do you would you take the job, Dan?
Premium formats for everybody.
That's right. You get a premium format, and you get a premium format, and you get a premium format.
So we're kind of not to pull the curtains, but we're kind of going through what we were going through in our chat, and we were arguing with each other back and forth. And then Jeff said that to me, and I said, all right, so now I'm going to throw out another crazy conspiracy. We all know a lot of these things went off the cargo ship into the water. So I said, all right, so Jeff, it's possible they were scuba diving for these things for the past year trying to find them, and they just found them and now made it for pre-order.
The factory before the fire made 250 total, and they all were on the bottom of the ocean. They've all scuba dived them all out. They are all painting them as we speak.
Never know.
It's the greatest statue story of all time.
Well, Jose Rios makes a good point in the chat. He says Sideshow couldn't sell more than 250 in 3 weeks, but Prime One sold 500 poison ivies at 1350 in 2 weeks. What's going on? It's a good point.
That is a good
500
point.
of that variant sold out in 2 weeks.
It is a good point.
Do you think that? Well, do you think that it could be a thing where that Ivy statue was released first? That's where people's money went.
Could be.
It could be.
Sure. That's a great.
I mean, my money did. I already own this freaking statue, and I bought the new one.
Did the lettuce ivy go for pre-order yet?
She is not. But it would be really interesting to see how she sells if it went up for pre-order this week. And I guarantee that Prime One's going to wait a little bit now.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. There's so many like Ivies out there right now.
And that's where Prime One shot themselves in the foot. If you remember with the Arkham City piece, although it said it was selling well, according to Mr. J.
And that their excuse was the same thing. They said they couldn't find a factory to produce it at the right price or something like that.
Right.
Yep.
But they released her at the same time as the Hush, which was a mistake. So people were like comparing the two and be like, well, the Hush is way better, so I'm not going to order that one. And we all know how Dan felt about her foot.
Very strongly.
Very strongly. Very strongly about that dang foot. But yeah, I think Prime One's got to be careful here and say, hey, now to be fair, one is 1/3 and one is a quarter scale. But it would be interesting to see if you release that quarter scale with Sideshow's quarter scale the same week, because they are both. No, she's green, right? She's a green. The lettuce one's green.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a green Ivy. So I don't know.
Chris Devon in the chat made a good point. He said the easy answer is that Prime One sold out to distributors while Sideshow is exclusive to the site. That's a good point. If they include, the batches that they're moving to distributors, of which I think they have a lot. If they sold half to distribution, and that wouldn't surprise me.
So why did Sideshow make this an exclusive to them?
Great question.
What was that all about?
Great question.
It was in the ocean.
It's the ocean theory. I don't know. It's just, it boggles the mind a little bit. Again, I don't know. I just wish the companies would talk to us sometimes so we don't have to speculate so much. It's like, but hey, it makes great content here on Rogues Gallery Live.
Well, let's see if they do it again like they said they were.
I just can't imagine Amy coming out and saying, we screwed up. This is what happened. That's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But I don't know. It's just very strange. And I think, like Eric just said, it's going to be telling if they, with the future releases, it's going to be telling whether this is going to be kind of the new business model to drum up excitement and get people to pre-order again. But I think if people are going to want to pre-order again, they're going to have to still kind of trim some of the discount stuff out, which sucks because that's been great. I don't know. I just feel like they're trying to right the ship a little bit, but I think there's still holes in the ship.
If they're doing, go ahead.
Jeff, you're always good with like the volume of statues from Sideshow. It seems like that for some reason there's this pervasive opinion that Sideshow doesn't make as much as they used to, and then Jeff chimes in and says, "Yeah, but what about this, and you're like, "Oh shit, that's right." So I think your point about them not being happy with 250, I've just been sitting here thinking about that. That's a really good point, because even if the margin's good on the statue, that's just not enough absolute dollars, right? It's not, say they make $100 on a statue times 250. That's just not interesting from a business standpoint, and there's a point that's not worth the risk. So I could see it maybe as a test, best case scenario, but more likely one of Eric's conspiracy theories. But is Sideshow, in your opinion, Jeff, are they producing at a volume that's consistent, or has it been decreasing, increasing? What do you think?
Well, yeah, you guys remember I did that video earlier in the year.
Yeah.
People think that they didn't put out much last year, but they put out 31 premium formats.
That's
kind of a lot.
That's a lot.
I mean, Legendary Beast probably put out 2 1/3 scales or something. One is a lot, and so I'm not sure. This year they've only done maybe 4 so far. Is that about right? So they might be a little bit slower so far this year. Maybe they'll pick up in convention season. That'd be my guess.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard to tell. But they put out the thing is the stuff they've put out so far this year has been pretty darn good.
Yeah.
That Iron Spider is really cool. The Batman on bike I like quite a bit. There's been some good pieces coming out from Sideshow.
Yeah, I mean they continue to put out great quality statues. Again, one of my newest ones from them is that Batman Who Laughs, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of quality. It's not a question of any of that.
Yep.
To me, it's more of a question of the economy, and just people are not necessarily buying, or they're being incredibly choosy. Whether they're going to spend $1,600 on a Hush Poison Ivy, which was a sought after piece anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have also helped with those sales. And like somebody mentioned earlier, they announced the ES from the pre-order date. So people felt like they had to buy.
I think Sideshow just needs to tell us the rules. Even if the rule is no rules, we're not going to tell you when this is going to wait list. Tell us that, and then we'll know we got to order day one. Either that or announce the edition size right away, or do something so that people don't get screwed because they are used to the rules as they've been for years and years and years.
I agree. And that's why, again, I think that it would have been so cool to have like a big rollout to say, hey, this year, 12 days of Sideshow, which they didn't do.
Yeah.
Hey guys, guess what? We're going to do a new model this year where occasionally certain pieces we're going to have very, very limited. It's going to be incredible. It's going to drum up excitement in the community. People are going to really want these exclusive pieces. If you're a collector that wants a low ES, man, this is going to be the year for you. I mean, do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Drum it up. Make it exciting. But instead, if you create ill will, that's not a very good start. Although they sold out, so but what do they care? But
because they're not going to make much money.
It's not going to make much money though. Like I mean,
doesn't make sense.
Dan's point earlier, like 100. Like if let's say you made $100 per statue, that's not a very big dent.
Not a lot of money.
I mean, surely they make way more than that. At least I hope.
Well, but when you think about all of their costs,
yeah, exactly.
Containers, factory, shipping, painters, just everything.
Payroll.
Conventions.
Yep.
Imagine what they spend at San Diego. It must be insane.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And
I would imagine they need some home runs in their schedule of statues, right? They must they've got to count on certain ones. Like Jeff, you said Psylocke is what, 2,500 pieces?
2,000 for Psylocke, 2,500 for Dark Knight.
For Dark Knight. So I got to imagine Dark Knight's probably a home run, right? Because that's a high enough volume that if they are making some money on each one, they're doing well.
Good point. Yeah, too.
Well, Mythos Vader's like 9,500.
Can I ask another
How
question?
many of those are sitting in us?
Yeah.
and that Ahsoka Tano, not the one that just came out, but the one based on Clone Wars.
Yeah.
There's a huge number of that too.
Okay, let me ask a question. That just came to me.
Okay.
$250 for Poison Ivy. A big character, well-known character, a female character that's barely clothed, which usually does pretty well. Could this particular $250 be a result of, hey guys, we're tired of the same damn characters?
To the point where they're going to
You
lose
mean
money?
a customer reaction, you mean?
Customer reaction. I'm like, okay, I've got an original Poison Ivy. I've got their new Poison Ivy that's green that came out a couple of years ago. Not everybody liked her. They thought she was kind of masculine. I love it. Just very fit. We've got selections like from Tweeterhead. I mean, there's been a lot of Poison Ivies out there.
That's true.
Do you think it's like, okay, we've been asking for other characters. We're just not going to buy this Poison Ivy because we already have her.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
It's a possibility. I'm just saying, like,
when you compound that with your point, Chris, a few minutes ago about Prime One's, flesh-colored one coming out, those two factors together could definitely cause that. Yeah,
it's possible.
Even the Prime One, I thought took a while to sell out at 500. I thought that would go right away when they released that. The regular skin version of it.
It's a lot of money.
It was 2 weeks. Just took 2 weeks.
But again, like let's say that they said, okay, hey, we're going to do a Clayface and we're going to do 250 of them. I think that they would sell because they've never done one. I don't think that they're not going to sell 1,000 of them.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that though.
I don't think they will either, but I feel like they could, but I don't know.
To be honest, I don't think they're happy with the Harley at 500 and the Joker at 600.
They can't be.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be an expensive license.
Yep.
Those numbers are just too low.
Yeah, it's Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly popular. So I don't know. Again, it's just an interesting topic that I think is going to take some time to develop. But I'm really glad that we had an opportunity to talk about it tonight. Very, 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 very interesting. And hopefully in the future, we'll have more information, and hopefully there'll be a little bit more forthcoming and let people know ahead of time that it's coming, just so people can, get on it if they don't want to miss out and have that FOMO. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Anything else you want to talk about with this topic, or do you want to move on to topic 2?
The funny thing is, I don't even have a dog in the fight because I prefer the previous Ivy.
Yes, there you go.
That could be why nobody bought this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find it really interesting that the events as they occurred was just so bizarre.
Yep, it is. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today. And if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.